Ho, ho, ho. Okay. Make sure this thing is working. Do, 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 do. Okay. It does appear to be streaming. So, I guess I need to get to work. Oh, I know what's wrong. I know what's wrong. This is not on. I don't know if that really adds much, but it makes me feel better about myself. So it's on. Anyways, whoa, that's really hot. So, let's see. I want to check on this. The volumes on this they seem really hot, but I got steel in the way, so I can't really see what my meters look like. There we go. So I want to make sure that you guys can actually hear me. You know, actually hear me. Because I want you to be able to hear every drink I take, every sip, every glorious sip. All right, so my fire is probably, oh yeah. I'm just gonna do some smoking because I got this big coke or coal up here. So it didn't really coke up. I mean, this stuff is huge. Burns fine now. I'm gonna get this stuff off of here that I do not need up here. And then one of the things I know I need, this guy right here. What is that? It's like coal dust on the edge of that. Never seen that before. Kind of cool. Don't that I need this. Oh. So I started. It'd be a lot easier if I could pull this up here. That way I just got the thing. And then I can see the thing. Right? You know how that works? Your subscription is active. Well, I would hope so. You take money out of my account, you bastards. So we are streaming. We have no telling who's on watching. It's whatever. This is what I love about starting a stream is I'll talk about what I'm doing, and then it feels like it's what I do for the rest of the stream, because you get people coming in and out. What are you doing? I don't know. Did you read the description? Did you read the title? At all? Oh man, look at his belly. Oh, so let me get this fire up to speed. This is my test piece. This is a coal rake. Well, it will become a coal rake. It is currently a little longer than I would have liked, but it's still plenty. It's fine. It's fine. You can easily get across when this is bent. This will all be bent, but you can easily get across this fire with it. I would say it's probably, I don't know, 2.5, maybe 3 inches longer than I would have liked, but again, it'll be fine. However, I did all of this with the induction forge, and it got to a point where it wasn't very efficient to continue using the induction forge with this piece. I could have switched to the pancake probably, and it would have been okay, but I did all this like 2 days ago. Hey Dustin, I did this like 2 days ago, And then I was like, well, I'm gonna do this stream anyways, I'll just finish it there. So I need to finish this. It's plenty thick right now. I don't know how thick it is. Actually, I meant to measure this. Hey, somebody moved my stuff. I just remember where I moved it to. I don't really know where I moved it to. Maybe it's over here. I got one over here. I got a set of calipers over here. I don't like using these calipers for the blacksmithing stuff though, but this one is not hot or anything, so it should be fine. It should be fine. Let's see. Zero it out. All right. It is currently not 0.215 at its thickest, it looks like. So it's not quite a quarter of an inch. So it's not huge, super thick, but it's, I mean, it's, well, actually it's not that thick. How was I measuring? That's just a little over an eighth. Looks like 3/16 probably. So anyways, I gotta thin this out. I'm gonna use my power hammer for that. See how quick I can kill this damn thing. And then on this end, which is hex, by the way, on this end, got the hex ball. I don't know how well you can see it in this lighting, but trust me, there is a hex ball on this thing. All right, you know what I can do? Let's do this. Let's do this. There's a little hex ball on there, and then the handle is hex. I haven't figured out what I want to do with this nub right here yet. I might forge it out or forge it into a thing. I don't know. But anyways, I need to punch a hole into this at some point. Probably right around here somewhere. I need to punch a hole in this and drift it open so that you have a way of hanging this on your forge. This is going to go down to the Indiana State Fair, whose coal rakes, and they're barely functional, let's just say that. And all the effort was put into a leaf on the end and then wrapped down around the handle, which is fine. I just don't like the way it feels in my hand, and the rake itself is, like I said, less than useful. So what we're shooting for is something a little bit more like this one. This one here. This is kind of the coal rake design that we're going for. This particular one was made by Mark Ling. Brian Brazil's made many in this similar style. Mark's a little bit different. And I want to say Mark used 5/8 sucker rod for these, maybe even mild, I don't remember. But yeah, similar idea. This is what we're going for. I like these coal rakes. You got a nice bottom that you can tamp with. You got a scoop you can scoop with. You got a way to poke the hole in the fire if you need to. Or, I have never done this, by the way. Brian likes to say that you can use the point to feel the center point on a billet when you're working it. You know where it's at, you know. I have never done that, but, you know, who knows. I just like them. I think they look better and they work better than what's out there. Speaking of things, let me put this back on the hook here. I am doing something that I picked up watching a video on, or from Germany. It's an older video. If I had to say, it was from probably the, it's hard to say how old it was. It's old. I don't even think there was words, so it was probably really old. Not words, audio. But I believe they were refining wrought iron, and one of the guys crammed this big bar into the forge, and I was like, holy crap, what's he doing with that? And what I realized was he was using it to build his cave. So that's what I kind of did here. Let me go put this somewhere safe-ish. So now I've got a nice little cave there. And then I can feed in some of this coke right directly into my cave. You know, and I don't need it to be raging hot. I just need it to be hot. I'm gonna need my support stand thingy because I haven't finished the swing out yet. I do not, if you do this, it's always best to keep your piece level. Don't crank it high so it's diving into your pot. It's a good way to burn material. Oh, that's the other thing. If I don't screw this up either on the blade end or by punching it, I've always got the opportunity to burn it. Do not need this right now, but I want where I can find it. Here's the material I'll be using for the other two. This one's a little longer. I'm not using all of it. I don't even think I need all of this. I know I don't, but I like to have something to hold on to. I have no idea. It's number 5, I think is what they call this. Number 5 rebar, which is 5/8, I think. I looked all that crap up once before when I bought a bunch of rebar for my power hammer. Don't remember. Anyways, it's essentially 5/8 rebar. It's actually a little over that, but this is what I'm using for material for this because I have it. I would prefer round because I kind of have to forge this down a little bit. I could leave it on the handle end. Maybe that's what I do. It's maybe just forge it down just lightly so it's not so rough on your hands, but maybe I just leave it. There's an idea, right? But I need to be able to use that hammer and this hammer. So I'm going to oil them up real quick. A little shot. Well, maybe if I could see what I'm doing. A little shot there. Shot there. A little bit up there. Same thing on this side. Boom. Boom. Anytime you use one of these, you should definitely oil it. There's no reason not to. It'll last a lot longer. It'll run better. And your hammer will thank you. By being a good hammer. This one, I think I oiled it the other day a little exuberantly. Is that a word? I don't know. I got carried away with myself. Anyways, so this one's oiled up. That one's oiled up. We're ready to rock and roll. However, I am not. Love those magnets. They're super strong. So that is, now it's hot enough to do what I want to do. I'm gonna come over, I don't have a camera over here, trust me, I'm doing the thing. Gonna get it hot again. You know, just working it down the center and then moving out. I've tripped over this stupid ball thing so many times it's redonkulous. Anyways, yeah, so that's where we're at with that. that's what I'm doing to that. I'm going to try my best to focus on getting these done. So I do apologize if I'm not paying. I got my tablet out though, which you guys can't see it, but so it should help me be able to read and see the chat and all that good stuff. You know, the good stuff. Let's see. That was weird. That was just a little bit weird. I'm gonna put my phone up here. Facebook is coming through on the chat, so should be good. Should be. Anyways, I'm gonna crank this fire up just a hair. Just a hair. And I'm gonna actually open up my cave just a little bit. Maybe, maybe not. There we go. This out. I'm gonna knock some of that coke down in there. Build this dome up a little bit more. My cave. I'm not big on the cave building. We used to make fun of that. Call people cave dwellers. I get it though. Like when you're working smaller stuff, it's an ideal way to do it for sure. Putting your a hammer billet in a cave sucks because you got to get it back out, and you ultimately just end up tearing your fire up, or you end up with a giant mound that you don't really need all of that. But hey, you know, whatever works for you and whatever works for you the best, do that thing. Just do that thing. See that? Yeah, that's gonna. But oh, I know what's going on. There we go. This fire's been running for about an hour. Mr. Corey, working on that coal rake for the shop down there. I don't know if you've seen that or not, but anyways, here we are. Got a hex handle on it. Hex finial in. Now I just need to finish this up. Be right back. Ain't very hot. But getting there. It's a getting there. Really just kind of gun shy about getting it too hot because I don't want to burn it at this state, even though this is technically a test piece that I'll probably just keep here in the shop. We'll see how this goes. Maybe I keep the best one for me. All right. A little more power. Power! A little more power. Anyways, Steve Schubert's watching. Getting there. I think I took off too much material for that end. What I could have done is made it shorter, but because there's so much material, I could then spread it and then draw it out to a more final dimension versus where I'm at now. I mean, I can still draw it out, which I might end up having to do because it's getting fairly wide at this point. At the end of the day, it's nothing a grinder can't fix. Just at this point, it's just a knife on a stick. Ass is dragging tonight. Mine or yours? I feel pretty good. My cave has completely disintegrated at this point. I kind of had a feeling that blade end was going to be a little too much. Too buku. Kind of reminds me of the mountain, the guy, you know, and his little wife. This is essentially what's happened to that poor girl. Let's just get this thing hot. See what we can do. It's amazing to me how little latency there is with some of these streaming platforms and then how much latency there is with some of the others. Like, it feels like YouTube has got a lot of latency. Like, I don't know what that's all about. And Facebook doesn't have a whole lot. I haven't paid enough attention to Twitch to really make a decision on that one way or the other. Not that I've made an observation one way or the other. No observations have been made. All right, so this is where I got to be careful not to burn the thing, because this is very thin. Like almost. Okay, this is, I know, you calm yourself down. This is about a good thickness. It's thick enough, but it's not redonkulous. It's redonkulous, but not something that can't be used. I don't know if I made a jig once to put the curls and bends and whatnot into these. I don't think I have that anymore. I don't know what I did with it. I don't know that it worked all that great in the first place, but I got some cleaning up to do with that anyways. Let me turn these off. Walk over here and see if I can find that jig without my piece in the fire. So I want to straighten this up a little bit. That's where I'm at. I'm not gonna do a whole lot of camera switching for this part because the only I'm doing at the anvil is cleaning it up. Kinda. Shoulders are not great on this. But it'll rake. It'll rake. So I'm gonna put this on top of the fire while I look for that jig. Oh my God. There's some weird expectation that I do this the old-fashioned way. I'm not gonna do that right now anyways. I still need to punch this. So, I'm gonna take another pass at cleaning it up. I wonder if I can pull that down a little bit. It is a little thick in comparison. Let me try that. Which one is it? It is, yeah, that guy. Let's see if I can pull that down with the rounding hammer a little bit. This is probably where I screwed up. Once I get this done, I'm going to isolate material. Well, yeah, I'm going to isolate material on these for the handle. And then I'll use the guillotine tool to set off material for the finial end. I don't think I'm going to do anything fancy for the handles other than forge them down just a hair so that the rebar part isn't so rough. But I kind of want to leave the rebar there so you know what it was. This is the one that needs to come down. All right, so I'm gonna let this cool down. And get started on the other two. One of these I'll need tongs for at some point. Just over here, jiggle, 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 jiggle. Oh Lord, what's going on there? So I'm going to put both these pieces in the fire, but notice I didn't do them at the same time. So ideally, I'll get these to a point where I can just kind of rotate back and forth. But eventually I'm going to have to pay more attention to them because once you're hot, it doesn't take nearly as long to get hot again. So I don't need this right now. I'm going to put that right there. And I'm using fullering dies to isolate the handle ends. But first, and I don't need this super hot, I just want to forge these ridges down a little bit. Just a little bit. I still want you to be able to see those ridges and know that that was at one point in time rebar. So, it was probably a little more than I needed to, but you can tell what it was. You know what? I'm gonna change that. I'm gonna pull this out. I will have to use tongs on this one now. I think. No, you know what? I'm not gonna change that. I like the order of operations that I used. I was saying about flipping it around, but eh. Got a ton of Coke on top of this table. So while that gets hot, I'm going to swap these dies out real quick because I want to isolate the finial side first. Yeah, right. You might want to be seeing this. I don't know. That's way too much, but that right there is pretty good. What a terrible hit. Now the corners. well you can see this. But pretty even all the way around. Plenty of shoulder there. So now we just upset it. So let me take this off. Actually, you know what? Let's get the other one to the same spot. So we'll get the other one to the same spot, and I'll just keep going. I'll go back and forth between them. So we're going to forge the handle out. That way, when we get ready to flip it around and focus, we can focus on just what we're wanting to do. I think there's 2 coal rakes in this piece, but I'll cut it off at a more appropriate length once I get this forged out. I'm quite happy with that isolation too. That's pretty nice. That came out nice. I think I need to turn this flyer down just a touch though. All right, same thing. I'm just taking the big ridges off. I'm not trying to forge this down. Get out of here. I might try to leave this one a little bit more proud. I think that's good enough. I kind of want you to know it was rebar. That's why the quote-unquote test piece, I did a hex handle on that. That's going to stay in my shop. Leave that for a bunch of chuckleheads that can't appreciate good tools. So, I've got Mr. Davis. How you doing? So, they've got just 2 forges down there, so I only need to do 2 of these. I need to make this handle, I need to forge the ridges down just a little bit more further down. So, and again, I want to leave the ridges to a degree, I just don't want it to be uncomfortable in your hand. You can still see the ridges. That's what I'm after. All right, so let's put the isolation on the end there for the finial, which is, this material here. We're going to forge that into a hex ball or something similar. Maybe I'll put a cone or something on there. I don't know. Sometimes I get weird. I like to keep things as ugly as me. I'm smoking a Cuba Libre. It's basically all I smoke anymore because I can rely on them. They're cheap, and I typically know what I'm getting anymore. Man, nothing bums me out anymore than getting a cigar, and it's like, you'll get a good deal, quote unquote. Get 20 of them for like $40 or something, and the quality is just all over the place. Drives me nuts. It's like, okay, well, yeah, that's great. You got them for $40, but a third of them smoked like shit. So was it really worth that? I mean, flavor-wise, they're usually pretty good. It's like they're either they're rolled way too tight, or sometimes just all kinds of a variety of issues that I've encountered. All right, so right side, yes. And I had a bigger hammer over here. I don't know where it went. Ah, I see it. This is my shop, yes. All right, let's see. Right about there. I don't remember this thing wobbling around as much. I wonder if that hardy stem broke loose. There we go. They're not going to be exactly the same, but they're close enough. Oh, shit, I never switched, did I? Ooh, this handle's getting hot. But anyways, there you go. They're close enough for what I'm doing. Depth-wise, they're close enough. I'd like to make a spring swage for my power hammer that does this with a stop built into it, so I know when I'm doing things like this on a given size, I always get the same results, minus however much material I put in. Because I could put a stop on the end of that too, and then have a turn key or something, so when you put the piece in, there's a little turn, it hits the stop, and then you can turn it out of the way, because as you forge that out, it's going to push that material out. I'm going to check on this thing and see if I didn't break it somehow, because it seems looser than normal. Well, I don't know. Maybe I'm just not hitting it very square. Yeah, man, thanks. Yeah, I saw the 9 to 5 thing. I'm still doing the 9 to 5 thing. Well, I mean, the spring swage would be, they're just butchers. I actually like forging these, the end, I actually like forging those by hand. It brings me peace. I don't know why I like it. It's just kind of funny. Maybe it was because it was one of those things that when I first, not that I'm great at it, but I kind of grasped it pretty quickly. It was one of those things I just kind of like, oh. I don't know. I can't explain why I like doing it the way I do it, but I do. So there's that. This needs to be quenched off because this damn thing got hot. It got hot. Imagine that. That's why I don't mind that other bar being so long. The only problem is, where is this crap in my quench tank? Leaves or something? The only problem with it being so long is I don't know how well I can, yeah, I can get all the way down. All right. I don't need the hammer for this. Turn that off. Get rid of this smoke for now. And my tablet just shut off. What the hell? Oh, I guess I hadn't actually touched it. Yeah, I've got some butchers. They're like way too big. Dude, I've got more power hammer tools right now than, what's funny is I don't even know what half of them do. This is all, so my big 250, I don't know if you can see it on the, right there, that guy. That's a 250. That is Clifton Ralph's old 250-pound power hammer. When I bought that, it came with a bunch of tooling, which is, oh, my fat gut's in the road, which is A lot of it's on that little rack right there, so behind this tripod. So got a variety of hammer tooling. But there's some stuff in there that is just like, I don't know what that, and one of his main students, best friend types, even that, there's some things where he's like, I don't know what the hell that is. So anyways, let's, do I have a glove out here? I might have taken it to the fair. I have a right glove. I have another right-handed glove. And I have another right-handed glove. Man, I have got all the right-handed gloves. All right, so no lefty. I must have taken them all to the fair. That's okay. I don't mind scorching for you people. Actually, you can do it this way too. I don't like to do it this way, but you can do it this way. Okay. All right. None of that. Take these corners down. But yeah, there's a lot of tooling over there. I've got a big cabinet, lateral filing cabinet type thing. It's about this wide and 5 or 4 drawers deep, and it's got 1, 2, 3 drawers full of dies, decorative dies that can go on that hammer. After quad state, I think we're gonna have to break a few of those out and start playing with them just to see what the hell they do. There's some of them we kind of got a good idea, and then there's a couple where we're like, I don't know. Hey, you got it, man. It's good times. I don't know, like, what's kept you away or whatever, but it's definitely good times. At least I think so. I kind of linger with the quote-unquote Brazil nuts. We do our own thing. But we spend pretty much the entire week forging, which is pretty awesome. I'm going to start going this direction, and I hate doing this because of the scale and no glove, but whatever. I love y'all, so that's how I'm going to do it. Ouch! That one got me good. Ouch! Hey now. I know, I just realized I did not switch the camera. Not going for a ball per se, but kinda. I find it easier to upset it square and then round it, quote unquote, round it, and then take it to hex. But I'm not sure I want to do another hex ball. Fall out with the quad squad and just never came back, or fell out. It wants to try. You know, I love all those dudes, but at the same time, fuck all those dudes, right? I mean, everybody can get along. Everybody can get along. You don't like somebody, don't talk to them. That's the way I look at it. They got some shit to say, let them talk their shit. Who cares? Words are words. Find people that ain't talking shit. But I love those dudes. I haven't had no problems with them. They've always been good to hang out with. Now, I just don't find the time to get over there to hang out with those dudes as much. And I see them when they're at Quad State anyways. But I've seen them over at Troy's too, a couple of them. And it seems like Mr. Coffee and I always seem to cross streams coming in and out of Troy's, but never hanging out while we're both there, which is kind of funny, I think. I don't know if John's been to my new place or not. He's only an hour and a half away now. I'm basically straight west of Quad State at this point. About an hour and a half, maybe less. I think it's more if I'm pulling a trailer or not. I drive a little less psychotic. I drive a little less Indianapolis when I got the trailer. All right, this is pretty much what I want. And I might just leave this the way it is, just to differentiate them. We'll see. We'll see how bad it looks. These are relatively easy to do, in my opinion. Key is getting a good shoulder and working that the first couple of bits. You really want this hot. I mean, you want it hot. Because if it's not hot and your shoulder, well, if it's not hot, what will happen is it's gonna have a tendency to want to kick out on you. Or when you mark it, you can mark it on the edge of your anvil, or like I did with the guillotine tool. But if you mark it too deep, the other problem you'll run into is obviously you'll thin it out way too quick. And almost every pass that you do here, it's gonna get a little thinner. That's why I do a lot of this cold. I mean, I ain't touching it with my tongue or nothing, but it's technically cold. You can hear it rattling. But the reason I do it, one, I can see all the little facets better. And I'm still using the round side right now. I'll go to the flat face here in a minute and really clean up these facets. But I don't think I'm gonna do this one hex. I kinda like it the way it is. I don't know. Not everything has to be a hex, Bill Corey. Just saying. But yeah, you want that initial set, you want that piece hot. It's gonna move better for you. It's gonna establish your shoulder more effectively that way, and it's a lot less likely to kick out on you. You can do that not on these power hammer dies, but I got 6-inch dies. Brian left me a couple of years ago. They're not on here now, but those 6-inch dies would allow me to do these on the power hammer. And if you come out cold trying to do that, it's gonna kick that out at you. And I would not, well, I won't say I wouldn't. I'd have to take my saddle off the 250, but I'm not sure I could pull that off on the 250. And this is a little small for that. The 250, even when it just falls, it's 250 pounds. So if you don't have things where they're supposed to be, it will cause you some problems. So now I'm going to take the flat face, and I'm just lightly going over everything. If I see a really noticeable high spot, that's what I'm attacking first while it's hot. like right there. You guys can't see that, can you? Like right there. You wanna really, one of the things I've learned from Brian and Ed, you want to avoid lows so you can attack your highs. And by lows I mean like deep valleys, like, you know, you don't want to spot that's got a valley in it where everything else is essentially in plane. Those are, because what that means is now you've got to forge everything else down around that to get to that level, or grind to that level, and that kind of sucks. It doesn't seem like it would be that big a deal, but you know, you got a lot of surface area there that you're going to have to deal with otherwise. So try to avoid creating hollows by attacking your highs and working things at an appropriate heat. This is essentially planishing. But I wouldn't be wailing on anything right now at this heat, but that is definitely one way to create lows or valleys. The same with like fish lipping too. I kind of like the facets in this. It's a little lumpy bumpy, but I'm okay with that. It kind of looks cool to my eyes. And you can tell what you hit by the shine on the facets usually. It's another reason I'll do a lot of this type of work cold. You can see what you've done, and it cleans up that scale quite a bit. But that is to no avail. You got to get it hot again. So try not to get too carried away with that until you're done, ready to be done with that, and then you can do all that kind of fancy stuff. I probably went too far because this has still got to get forged down a little bit. This transition right in here, right here, that's got to come down. It had to come down a lot, but it needs to come down, so that means this end's going to get hot again. So I'm going to end up forging on this more. But I kind of like, I don't know, I'm torn. I don't like seeing hammer marks typically, but in this particular case, I kind of like it because it shows that this was indeed done by hand. You know, there was no spring swage involved. You know, under my power hammer, everybody knows, well, not everybody, but a lot of people know I have power hammers. So this way you can see. Is that the hammer one? Yeah, so I got two of those. We built one in 2020, I think. 2019, 2020. I think it was 2020. That's actually not this one. Oh shit, I gotta keep forgetting to spot. That's not this one here. This one we built in 2020, March of 2023. And that was the last time I was down at John's. We were gonna try to get together at John's, not for a hammer build, but just to hang out. And it didn't work out this year. Hopefully, we'll make it work out next spring. He was busy, I was busy, some of the other guys were busy, so it just didn't work out. And he was talking about us coming down like in the middle of the summer, and I was like, fuck all of that. Fuck all of that. It's hot in the springtime down there. And as much as he likes to jest about loving the summertime, he quit working on his roof, I think it was today or yesterday, because it got so damn hot. Up there putting on a metal roof too. Woo! So on this one, I'm going to use my flatter and the power hammer and get up close to that shoulder and try and bring that down a little bit. A little bit. But, you know, same thing as anything else. Work it hot. Just because you got a power hammer doesn't really mean you should be working it cold. Come on, get up there. So I'm going to lock this in there and there. And there and there. I need that right now. I don't want to go too far though. Because I still want, down here, I want that rebar look. You know, that way you know it was rebar. So, might just have to do this by hand a little easier. A little easier. A little easier to get into this shoulder without completely destroying my finial end. That I've hit twice now, but they're at the bottom, so it's not that big a deal. Because I'm gonna have to go back over that anyways. But I don't like that fast transition there, you know? Whew. Yeah, I got a bunch of family down in Texas, and I miss the warmth. I ain't gonna lie, but 102 degrees and 80% humidity can fuck right off. You can fuck right off. Just like negative 10 degrees out here can fuck right off. I need to find that perfect place, you know. 73 degrees all the time. Maybe 40% humidity. We didn't want a little humidity, you know, but that 100 and that shit 80 to 100, it's just bullshit, man. Bullshit. But I can work through that stuff. When it's cold out here, though, nah. Rob stays inside. That's where the Texan comes out. I'm like, that's just too damn cold. I can surely find something in the house to do. All right. There we go. Well, I mean, it's not cleaned up, but that shoulder is looking much better now. That transition. Yeah, I'm gonna have to make sure I don't do this or use the power hammer on this again, because I think I lost more of the rebar than I really wanted to. It kind of doesn't matter, but I kind of like the idea of leaving it a little bit so you knew what it was, you know? All right, so anyways, that's the transition. Just got to clean it up. I should have just did that. There's some things that the power hammer is good for. I mean, there's a lot of things that the power hammer is good for, but for me, there are certain things, well, I will argue this anyways. There are certain things that you can do by hand that you really can't accomplish on a power hammer as cleanly. I see a lot of guys do stuff with a power hammer, and they'll get close, but they have to clean it up by hand. And then there's just certain things that I think you can do them with a power hammer, but they don't. To me, it's kind of obvious that a power hammer was used, right? I don't know. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I've got 3 of the damn things. I love them. All right. power hammer dug in right there. That might just have to glue there, because I don't know that I want to take it that thin. It's not that noticeable, but it's like most people wouldn't notice, that I will notice. Hey, I never cut that. Hey, I never cut that. Anyways, just boring old coal. This is like definitely not something I really wanted to do, but at the same time, they're needed down there. The coal rakes down at the state fair are poopy, to say the least. So these would be much nicer tools, even as chewed up as they are. Because I don't know how much cleaning up I'm going to do. We'll see. We'll see how they look towards the end. Sometimes it bothers me. Sometimes it doesn't. These damn guys. My guillotine guys, needing to be dressed. They have been abused. Not that I've ever done that. I abuse them all the time. Yeah, I use my hammers. I don't feel like I use them nearly as much as I should, which I'm trying to work through. Some of it's just tooling, or sometimes it's like what I'm working on, and I don't want it to be a thing in the stream too much. I'm not going to shy away from using them, but I don't want it to be the focal point. I do want to do some videos using them though, edited videos, because I feel like there's just not a lot of power hammer content out there. And I am fortunate, I live an hour away from one of the best power hammer operators in the country, Kurt Fehrenbach. So, I can get video of him doing stuff, which I think is cool. All right, we'll take one more pass at cleaning this up. Ooh, that's hot. And y'all can't see shit. Y'all can't see shit. Now, I'm going to come back up here. All right. You can see where I hit it with the hammer. I think I'm going to have to live with that. The lighting kind of sucks. But anyways. You can tell it was forged mostly by hand. At least this end. I don't care about the rest. I'm fortunate. I'm using a power hammer for that shit. Anyways, now I want to isolate off the material for the handle and the stem, separate those. So I want to push this through the fire a bit, keep off my finial in so I don't have to mess with that too much more. I'll probably go over it one last time. Yeah, it is a nice, cool evening. It's supposed to be really nice, I think Saturday. Oh yeah, I did. Is he still around? I don't even know. I mean, I know who he is. But I mean, for those that don't know who Ray is, the tire hammer really wouldn't be a thing without him. I mean, Clay took it to the next level and did a lot of work on it, but I mean, that initial kind of push, in my opinion, came from there. And that's the other thing. So when I say premier forge guy, power hammer guy in the area, Kurt Fehrenbach. Kurt Fehrenbach was a student of Clifton Ralph. Clifton Ralph, if you don't know who he is, most of the power hammer tools that you see were brought to the forefront by Clifton. He was the guy, he was an industrial smith. When he retired, he was looking for something to do and started forging again. Or I don't even know that he ever stopped, but he got in with the groups and started doing the thing, and before you know it, people were like, you can do what with a power hammer? Really? Holy crap. I ain't saying he made all those tools, and a lot of that stuff was just an industry, but he made it known to the general blacksmithing groups. All right, come on. Now we need you hotter than that. Come on now. People are watching. What are you doing? But yeah, it is a pretty nice night, Jamie. I would agree. But yeah, this weekend's supposed to be pretty nice too. I think it's supposed to be pretty warm tomorrow, and then it starts cooling down again. And I think Saturday's supposed to be really cool. Last I checked, unless it's changed. I mean, it changes by the minute, it seems like. Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, we're pretty fortunate as well. The Indiana Blacksmith Association, we've got a few guys that are essentially legends in the arena. Jack Brubaker lived down in Bloomington, Indiana. I don't know that he's moved out yet, or he's working on moving to, I think, Virginia somewhere. All right, so now I need the fullering dies. But he was, I can't remember if he's a founding member of Urbana, but I know he was the president for a while. Super cool, nice guy. I got some other folks. All right. So where it's all lumpy and nasty, I think that's where I want to separate that. Oh, that's a long handle. Maybe right there. Well, I got to punch it, so yeah, right there. I don't know if you could actually see that, but just isolating that material. I'll probably take one more round, and I'd like that a little deeper, what she said. Y'all knew that was coming, right? It's like watching Brian with all the mistakes. I would have to say, Brian and Ed have been really good to me over the years, last 4. The dudes have taught me a lot. Brian certainly set me on a good path. Ed as well, and Ed's just fun. Brian's not always the funnest guy to be around. I love Brian to death, but he's not always the funnest guy to be around. Ed, on the other hand, always a good time. Always a good time. You know, it is what it is. Everybody has their bad days, but I can work around Brian where a lot of other people can't. And I think that's just. I think I can thank my dad for that because my dad's very similar. Big rain from Debbie. Who the hell is Debbie? Is Mark Ling supposed to be at Quad State? I don't know about this year. He usually comes out though. He just recently got married, so it might not be on his radar. So we'll see. I suspect it is though. So between him and Andrew Larson, they'll likely be there. Jonathan Pinkston will be there more than likely. Hopefully none of Jamie's people are getting married again, so he can be there the whole time. I'll be there because I done marked that shit off my calendar and told everybody to go fuck themselves. Robert's doing Quad State. I even told my doctor that. I was like, no, I can't. I don't care if I have cancer. I don't, but I don't care if I have cancer. You can tell me about it after Quad State. Okay. Hey, give it back. Oh yeah, that's much better. So, ain't straight. You know, hey, here's a little tip for you. If you hold straight, you forge straight. I did not hold straight. Who are the demonstrators here? So you're Derek Melton, Terry Sheridan, and I don't want to sound like a dick, but some other guys I didn't really care about. Those are the 2 that piqued my interest. There's a dude, and I know some people really love this stuff, but after a while I'm just like, could you just finish the damn thing, please? There's a dude that's been working on a rifle for like what feels like 5 years now. And I'm at a point now where like, could somebody please just make him finish that damn thing so we can see something else? But I know that there's a lot of people that are interested in that. Just like there's people that are interested in knives, and there's people that want to see other things too. So I get it. Just me being selfish. But yeah, Derek Melton and Terry Sheridan for sure. You haven't met Mark yet? Yeah, he's a good dude. I like Mark. We've done, I don't want to say we've done a lot together, but in the times, in the short times that we've had with each other, we've done a lot. It's always fun. Me and Mark always have fun. He's always showing me something new and cool. He comes up with what I consider basically some kooky ideas, and then he'll show me, or something that he and the chain gang had, cooked up at one point. And then he'll show me that, and it's like, Jonathan did the same thing. He showed me something that we were working on, striking wise, that I was just like, man, I am not comfortable striking like that, dude. He was holding, it was just weird. But once we did it, the end product was really cool, and it actually really boosted my confidence in striking quite a bit. I still don't know if I would be coming down with pure fury and thunder the way he was holding it, but I could at least hit with authority after we were done, the way he was doing it. It's one of those, it's like you had to have been there to really appreciate what was going on. I don't know why I got this part hot. I get maybe to straighten it out. Oh, I know what it was. It was to brush it. Yeah. Come on. There we go. Oh, yeah. But yeah, Ed and Brian, they're my crazy uncles. They are my crazy uncles. I love those guys. They were here when we first moved into this place. We moved from the city into the country. And when we moved out here, they came out and spent, I think, a month, pretty much all of June here. And I don't think a day went by that there wasn't an argument of some sort. And honestly, I don't know that I would have had it any other way, because at the end of the day, we had so much fun. Put any pieces up for judging for, like at Quad State? I don't know. I might, not this year. No, Brian won't be around for Quad State. Ed's supposed to be coming, but he also went to California to help a friend out whose wife recently passed away unexpectedly. So I don't know that that's going to happen now either, because he's helping his buddy out. So that may or may not happen. But Ed's scheduled to come back up. Not scheduled, I guess scheduled would mean there was a date. But we're trying to schedule a date for Ed to come back up to do a tools class, an abbreviated tools to make tools class with a group of guys that I work with here in Indiana, and they're going to do it in my shop. We were hoping that would be like before or after Quad State at some point. And then usually, I don't know if Jamie's still around, but usually they try to align that as well with a class over at Goshen. Last year we did TV trays, which was really cool, because we did the TV trays, but they were pared down, so my tray is over here, which you can't really see it. Yeah, Ed's in California right now. But my tray is probably, I think it's 30 by 30. These trays were 24 by 24. It's a little more compact and less rails on them. I think we only did 2 sets of rails on them, where mine has, I think, 4. Yeah, there's 4. So it's pared down quite a bit, but it made for a fun class, and an approachable class, which was really the key. Is what we were looking to do. A class that we could get pulled off, in a 2-day time frame with potential beginners. Yeah, that was a fun class, and we did 8. I think we got 8 trays completed. Well, 8 students completed trays. I think 12 trays were done total that weekend. And then the weekend before Quad State, we did a trial run. Or no. Yeah, we did the trial run the weekend before. And me, Ed, Josh, Paul, and Hannah, and I think maybe somebody else, I can't remember. We all made one as like a practice run. And what's funny is, the one I ended up doing during the class, I didn't take the class, I was just a helper, but I had to keep busy. So I started working on one. And the one I did during the class did not come out nearly as nice as the one I did in the practice run. Which that's my life in a nutshell. Oh yeah? So did you sell everything? You didn't keep nothing? I mean, because I have a really big, nice shop. I do. I cashed my retirement money in and filled this shop out and helped pay for the property that we live on. Because I knew I wasn't going to retire. I couldn't retire. I had maybe 3 years of retirement money saved up. It just wasn't going to work. So anyways, so I did that, right? But it's all stuff that I use, outside of my regular job. So, when I have free time, I make a lot of free time. But when I have free time, this is what I do. So like Wednesday nights, I make it a point to just come out here and fuck around and then stream it. Man, there's a lot of scale on that bad boy. That's why I'm so tentative to hit this thing right now, because it's all shooting back at me. This is a 4.5 pound hammer I got from Ethan Hardy, which is funny because I bought it specifically to use as a drift driving hammer. And then I did a hammer with Andrew Larson, and that bastard was using a 8-pound hammer to drive drifts with, and I felt so inadequate. So I'm not going to use an 8-pounder, but Ed and I, when we were in Oklahoma this previous March, we forged a 5-pounder together. I think it was actually 5.5. Where is that thing? You'd think I'd be able, no, there it is, it's on my vise. Yeah, so this is the 5.5 pounder, I think. I can weigh it, but Ed and I did this when we were in Oklahoma, out at Josh's place. And it should be on the rack. So, let's continue upsetting this. This one, I might do a hex. Same thing as you go around, like you want to forge it equally, but as you start going around it, you're aiming for the high spots, right? So normally when you start, or how I start them, how I was shown, that's the other thing. Brian likes to change up things quite a bit, but how I was shown was you forge square, essentially, equal forging. You hit it one side, 180, hit it the other side, 90, hit it, 180, hit it, and you just go around. So now I've hit this one quite a bit. But you want to keep it equal, but then when you start to round it up or take the main edges off, you're just aiming for the highs. Go all the way around it and aim for the highs and level everything off. You still have a 2x72 bandsaw, hand tools. Okay, so you can still get out and forge and stuff, right? That was the thing that was like, oh man, don't just give up forging because you're not. I mean, I think even in the best economy, being a blacksmith is still a tough gig to pull off. We're not really making things that are in high demand. And then when you start talking about knives, the problem with knives, in my opinion, is there's so many people doing it. And if you don't have a name for yourself, I mean, you're not selling knives for, $2,500 a pop like some people. You're more like $250, $300. Sometimes you get lucky and get a $500 deal out of there, but until you establish yourself, it just seems like it's a long struggle to me. I have no interest in making knives simply because all the finish work is. How about I forge the knives and I send them to you? Oh man, I want to keep upsetting this a little bit. All right. So, this is getting warm. Well, it's getting there. Flying saucer. Yeah, it's a rough gig, man. I mean, like, I know some guys that do it for a living and have been doing it for a living for, like, 40 years. And even they go through, there's times where they don't have work, man. They're having to borrow money just to stay afloat. And then they'll get flooded with work. And then the problem they run into is they can't find anybody to help. So then they're stuck not being able to take certain jobs just because they don't have the ability to get the help they need to stay on top of the orders. Like Kurt told me that he had to pass up a job just because he knew there was no way in the time frame that they wanted it done that he could even get it done. And they were kind of pressed for time. And it was, he doesn't have full-time help, but he's got guys that'll help him. But even then, he had to pass on that just because, just like from a timing standpoint, it's like, for the most part, it's just him. So there's only so much he can do in a certain amount of time on top of what he already does. And he does a lot of tong making for industrial shops. So he makes these things. Let me whip this out for you. I actually used these last week, or 2 weeks ago. Yeah, these are the Clifton Ralph ones. But Kurt makes tongs like this on the regular, and bigger. These were made by Clifton. And we actually had to use these a couple of weeks ago. We were reforging some 2¼ inch square stock. And this was the only thing we had that could really get a hold of it. And the problem was those damn things weigh like 10 pounds. And then the billets we had weighed like 20 pounds. But just before you know it, I was like, man, we need a gantry and a crane for this. Yeah, and then there's the whole like trying to kill yourself just to get things done, That part I get. For sure. How many times will I burn myself doing this? All right. Ow! There's 180. Not quite 90, because I'm going for hex. What is that, 60? Now 180. And then this guy. Ow! Ain't there yet, but I forgot to switch. But it's getting there. Whoa! And we need 3D blacksmithing. Yeah, I've got some bigger ones than that I haven't used yet, but with the 250, I can see it happening, especially I've got, I don't know, they're 6 by 16, 2¼ inch thick 4140 blocks that, I mean, they're going to get reforged eventually. So, got to have a way to hold them. To be honest though, those blocks that we did have, I was like, man, I'm this close to just welding some handles onto these things. But once we got them forged down, I have another pair of tongs, and those fit pretty well. Because, man, those things, man, they're just like, just just holding the tongs up is work, let alone the billet you're trying to forge down. But yeah, we forged down 3 or 4 of those. One, we did 3. See if I can brush some of that off before it gets on my hands. Jeez. All right. All right, there we go. I keep forgetting to switch. Hell yeah, it's a, I don't, well actually I don't know if it is a Fisher Price one, but yeah, there's a story behind that. Anyways, that's the hex ball, mostly done. I mean, it could use a cleanup pass or two, but that's mostly done. I'm gonna, like I did on the other one, I'm gonna try not to hit it this time, but I'm gonna forge that transition down, and I will forge this one down hex. But yeah, I don't know, I don't remember if it's a Fisher Price one or not. Anyway, no, I think it's like Play School. But, so I have a whiteboard, but I did something one day, and it was so stupid and so fundamental that I should have known better. And I thought, I just need another whiteboard that I can put in front of myself to remind me of something. And I was out in the garage digging out my band gear because we had a show coming up, and I found that thing, and I was like, I know exactly what to do with this. So, and then I didn't intend, that's a shitty drawing, but I didn't intentionally do the shitty drawing. It was just a shitty drawing. I don't know, you can't actually see the drawing, I don't think, but trust me, it's shitty. I'm 6'3", bending down to that little thing and trying to draw on it. Not that I can draw anyways, but trying to bend down to draw on that damn thing is no bueno. All right, let's see if I can do this without hitting the ball. Actually, I want a different hammer. Oh, I hit it. Oh, come on now. I hit it again. Equal forging. I'm not used to this hammer, but that's a terrible excuse. My everyday driver is at the fair, because I'll be there on Friday. How bad did I hit it? Oh, not that bad. Not that bad. Yeah, I can't blame the hammer, but I am not. That hammer feels a little, just, it feels different enough. Andrew Larson and I made this. Actually, you can watch us make this. We did this one on, actually no, not this one. Andrew Larson and I did this at last year's IBA conference. So it's got my touch mark on it. I don't know how well you can see it, and then it's got Andrew's on there. We did this at the IBA conference last year. And then I bought the hammer I helped make in the auction. But you can watch us make one of these. We did a demonstration, the same demonstration at Coal Iron Works in December, this past December, and that was a fun demo to do. So I felt honored that Andrew trusted me enough to not only do this demo at the Indiana conference, but he trusted me enough to have me come back for the Andy Davis hammer in at Coal Iron Works. So thank you to Andrew for that kind of trust. So I'm going to take another pass on the hex. I don't need it screeching hot, but I like the handle is feeling. But I want to clean it up. Where's a good spot? Right there. I mean, I did hit it. It's just not bad. Now I intentionally, I don't know if you can see it on the camera or not, but I intentionally, when I start to lift up the back end, I swoop it in a little bit, and it gives it that little swoopy thing. Now, here's a caveat to that. Even when I think I'm holding it straight, I can't seem to get them nice and straight. That's something I want to work on. But I kind of like it, the little swirly, swoopy thing in there, so I just kind of do it. And I think, in my brain, this makes total sense. I think because I do that, I naturally do that without even realizing it sometimes. So therefore, they all end up that way to a degree. I really struggle, on the ball end too, it's really weird, really struggle to keep that straight. I've done it a couple times. There's something in the bottom of my quench tank, and I can't quite tell what it is, but it's not tinking like metal, but it feels like it's got a little bit of mass. I just wonder if a mouse or something got in there. I need to dump it and refill it. But anyways, that's where that's at. The handle end, I think I'm going to leave that alone. I was going to put a hex on it, but honestly, that's every bit fine. It's fine for what I'm using it for. Do you pull your offhand side? Do I pull to my offhand side? No. I tend to bias towards my dominant hand. I don't, and I think that's just the way I stand, and I might, but the way I stand, I would automatically have a tendency. Now, if I stood this way, you know, well, you guys can't even see that. But if I stood this way at the anvil, that might be a different story. But because I stand this way, I don't know. But it's this hand tends to. What I need to do is, instead of when I lift, I probably need to try to push it out a little bit. But it's not that big a deal. Like I said, I kind of like it. It's just when I don't want to do it, it's a struggle. But the same thing like doing on a power hammer. If you tell me to forge you a rhombus on the power hammer, I could not. But if I'm trying to forge something square, I guarantee I'll get a goddamn beautiful rhombus. I don't know why. Very, very annoying at times. It's like I could not forge a rhombus to save my life. Well, I can, but it's just, I struggle. But then when I'm not trying to do that, I'll damn sure get a rhombus. I get my electrolytes in. Can he hit the trash can from here? No, he cannot. Not even close. I was like a foot away. Yeah, I'm getting better at being able to control the rhombus on these guys because I use them more. The 250. I'm getting there, but man, it is a challenge, let me tell you. I need the guillotine tool again. Isolate the handle material. All the spring pullers I have are, they were made essentially for hammers, so they wouldn't work very well on these. I need to make some smaller ones. Oh, I was like, what in the world did I do with my tongs? They're right here. But yeah, it's been October marks 5 years for me now. I really count my first class with Brian as my true start. The 6 months that I did before that was just a dumbass poking around in the dark. I'm still kind of a dumbass, but at least I was handed a flashlight. All right, so do I need that? I don't think. Why am I using tongs? A little deeper next time, like she said, but that's pretty close. Yeah, we're pretty fortunate in Indiana. We got, Illinois is directly to our west, Ohio's directly to our east. We got folks in Michigan, we got folks in Kentucky, we got folks in Tennessee. And none of that is more than, a day's drive at most. And in a lot of cases, a few hours or half a day's drive. We went to Stuart Mullins' shop 2 weekends ago and spent the day down there. And that was cool. We got to hang out with Jonathan Pinkston. Jonathan and I made a hammer together. We got to stop doing that. The hammer thing. I mean, I like making hammers, but it seems like people are going to think that's all we know how to do. But it's one of those things where it's like, you know, you don't always have access to a striker. So anytime you do, it's like, you know, do something with the striker while you have them, you know. Oh, well, that'll forge. That'll forge. That's good enough for that. A little bit of stubborn scale right here, so I'm just going to lightly go over this. Knock that loose. Because for the most part, this handle is done. I mean, anything else would be like basically straightening. That's about it, really. From here out, different story. That is hot. So the other piece. Hey, Troy. Well, you take it easy. Thanks for hanging out, James. Mr. Jot Wilford. Holy shit! I want to thank you for the square and the instruction on using said square. Because, you know, matching the angle, that part wasn't fucking obvious. Paul and I got a good laugh out of that. I don't know, I'm not going to show much detail, but there's these grooves in here, and we were like, well, what are the grooves for? we were both sitting there, and I started laughing. He's like, what's so funny? I was like, Jock said in order to use the square, you just match the angles. We both looked at each other like, well, no shit. It's like, that's probably what, you know, the face that he made when I asked the question. Like, what are these morons talking about? We just weren't sure if the little grooves and stuff, if they served a purpose or if they were just an aesthetic thing, you know. Because if they served a purpose, we were both just like, I don't know how that works. What's up, Paul? But yeah, anyways, I want to grab the other one. The one that's mostly done, because it should be cool enough to handle. So this is essentially what I'm shooting for, but maybe, oh, the camera, maybe 3 inches shorter, 2.5 inches shorter, somewhere in there. A little short. This is plenty fine. It's just a little longer than I'd like, but it's plenty fine. But I need to figure out if I'm going to do anything with this end, and the more I look at it, the more I'm inclined not to. This one's not leave. Well, it might leave the shop. I'm going to say it's not, but I need to. I should just grind this, to be honest. I should grind this, make them about the same. I should have forged it that way, but I did not. But overall, it's pretty good. Uniform thickness for the most part. A little thicker on this side than this side. But this side needs to come up a little bit. So I'm not gonna grind that tonight. If I do any grinding on this, this one's not gonna leave my shop, I don't think. But this is kind of what I'm going for anybody wondering what the other two pieces are that I've been working on. This is what I'm shooting for. I did the finial ends on both of the other ones. Similar, but different. One is got a hex on it, which is the one I just worked on. So that is this one. It's got a hex ball on it. I don't know how well you'll be able to see it, but it does have a hex ball. I can try this camera. What is bars warm? Oh shit, what did I do? Anyways, there we go. So, it's got the hexy ball. If I can hold it up there in an angle that you can actually see the damn thing. Hey, get the hell out of the way. Hey, that guillotine tool is hot, y'all. In case you were wondering. Yeah, so it's got a hex, but that's all I'm gonna do with the handle. I'm not doing anything fancy with this handle. And then in the other one, oh, hey, that one really got warm. Holy smokes. Hey. Oh no, this is the one I just did. So this is the one with the hex handle on it, or the hex finial. What the hell was the other one I was looking at? Oh, that was the one that was just, I just forged it all. So it's basically like that, I don't know, an egg shape, I guess. That's why this one's so hot. Right, yeah, this one's got the hex. You big dum. Like I said, I can't really see. I'm focusing on the camera. I'm not even looking at the pieces that I'm holding. But yeah, so now on these, I just need to draw this out. This is way more material than I need. Especially on the other one, there's easily 2 rakes in that other piece. But what I need to do is draw this down and then figure out where I want to cut it and then go from there. And what I'm going to try to do this time is measure out how much. That way I take the same bite off of both sides and then I just cut off what I don't need. But it is 10 o'clock, so I'm not going to spend too much time. I see Erin watching. She's lurking. My homie. Erin and I go way. At this point, God, 20 years. Yeah, 20 years. 20 years. Holy crap, man. That's crazy. Anyways. Yeah, math. Yeah. Ain't nobody got time for that kind of shit. Mathing. Measuring. What? That's what's nice about having Paul around. Because Paul's like, oh, we should measure it. And I'm like, why the fuck would you do that? And then he goes and measures it and it comes out nice. And I'm, okay. Okay, I guess. If you want to be making nice stuff and measure it, sure, whatever. You do that. Me, I just eyeball that shit. Sometimes that works out. But I'm making 2. Honestly, if I was just making 1, I would not do any kind of measuring. But since I want to make 2, I want to make them approximately the same size. I'll measure. I'll take a bite off of one and then I'll measure it. Because a little bit bigger than 5/8. So I'm thinking this would be, actually this might be considered 3/4 inch rebar. I think it is. But regardless, so forging that out, 3 inches is it's gonna stretch out quite a bit. That's what he said. I've said that a lot. But anyways, 10 o'clock. I said I was going to make it a point to stop. So here's the other thing. If I don't finish these before the fair, which means I need to get my ass out here at some point tomorrow and work on these. But if I don't get them finished before the fair, we'll finish them at the fair. But what I'll do is I'll do the drawing out and try to get them somewhat spread out on the blade end before I bring them out, so that, you know, it's just very little work to do. It's just tuning at that point. Oh, I know. Well, I don't want to say I know all the equations. I know all the equations because I have them all in a spreadsheet. But that takes some of the joy out of it for me. Now, there are times when I want to know that stuff. Like, I really, like, okay, for this particular thing, I want to know it. But if I'm just freestyling, man, if I'm just doing my thing, that just kind of, I don't know, it turns something joyous into something less joyous for me. I don't know why. It just does. That's just the same with, like, playing music, right? Like, if I were to play a cover song, I don't mind playing a cover song, but I don't want it to sound exactly like the band that covered it. I want it to sound like me and my band doing that cover. That's one of the things I've always loved, and people can talk all the shit they want. It was one of the things I've always loved about Metallica and their covers. They don't just do a cover, they do a cover, but they make it their own. And in some cases, people don't realize that shit isn't their song. Am I Evil is not Metallica's song. Blitzkrieg is not Metallica's song. Whiskey in a Jar is not Metallica's song. And honestly, what's that song that they did with Elton John? Dude, they killed that. They fucking killed that. I mean, I'm not a big Elton John fan by any goddamn stretch. And I was like, this song is fucking rocking out. They are killing it. They made it their own. And I'm the same way. Like, you know, I like to try to make it my own in some way, but make it still where you can recognize what it is, right? But there are some people that they want to play everything note for note, kick for kick, flip for flip, you know, hip check for hip check, you know, and it's like, I mean, I guess if that's what you're into, who am I to begrudge that? But I don't want. If I wanted to see that shit, I'd go see that goddamn band. I don't know why I'm piling coke on this fire. I'm killing it. Because I'm not going to keep working on this with 30 minutes left. 30 minutes left in my schedule. Now, I will tell you right now, making spreadsheets is not, there's no fucking joy whatsoever in that for me. I hate them, but they're handy. For things like that, they're very handy. And honestly, I'm more of a text file guy, because my IT career evolved around Unix and text-based things, so command line and text is where I focus, but the reason I put it into a spreadsheet is because it's handy to be able to go in and plug in a couple of numbers and have it spit out what I need. That's the only reason. But when I bought the Clifton Ralph DVDs, in there came a packet of notes, and in the notes there was a large variety of equations for determining, you know, material based off of various things and how to get that, you know, to you know, pull the volumes you want from various things. I thought that was pretty neat, so I kept it all. Can you show me the rotary dial you got on the Coke Forge? I can send you a link to it if you want to see the one I bought. It's, I don't know. I don't have, so none of my cameras have cords long enough to get over there, the way that they're connected. But I can send you a picture of it. I can send you a link to the one I bought. It's just a cheap Chinese knockoff of the Variac. It is model number TDGC 0.5 km. Which probably tells you nothing. Made in China. But I still have, I got it on Amazon. So I can send you the actual link. And then my other one's an actual Variac. I think it's a Variac. I'm pretty sure it is because I got it in an auction. Stupid cheap. Because these things are stupid expensive. Actual Variacs. Yeah, Staco Energy, Dayton, Ohio. Made in America. And that's like a $500 one. This was like a, I want to say 60 bucks. And if you order it on AliExpress, you could probably even get it cheaper. You just gotta wait longer. So, I'm gonna start tearing down, starting with this camera. And I made, oh come on, I made a little, I 3D printed a little stand, and it's kind of janky, but it's not bad. But then yesterday I found, it's not technically a stand, it's just like these, what do they call, multi-function arms or something? They're like heavy duty prints. I mean, they took like, on my fastest printer, which normally will print things 3 times faster than my slow printers, it took that one 8 hours to print these arms. And they're stout. I mean, they are stout, so I'm looking forward to swapping that little janky tablet stand out for the stout one. It's gonna be cool. It's gonna be cool. Is this the doodad that goes on that doodad? This is not the doodad that goes on that doodad. Is this the doodad that goes? It's the doodad, y'all. So there's that. And last but not least, but yeah, I'll send you, when I get in the house, I'll send you the link to that. Let's see, I need to take my tablet in. I don't need to take this in, but I need to take this camera down. So that means I'm calling it a night. Thanks for hanging out, y'all. I will send you that stuff here in a bit. Give me like 45 minutes to defunk a little bit, and then I'll send it to you. Until then.